Now in this lesson, I'll teach you the important rules for using will and shall correctly, and we will discuss how to use them in questions to make requests, offers and suggestions. There is a final quiz at the end to test your understanding. Okay, so how do you use will and shall correctly? Well, here is the short answer. In modern English, shall has become uncommon. That means most people just don't use shall. In fact, in American English, shall is very rarely used. It's mainly found in some types of questions, but we shall discuss them later in this lesson. So for now, if you are not sure about the rules, just use will. It's perfectly okay to use will in all statements, no problem. But I am sure you are watching this video because to know the proper grammatical rules for will and shall, so let's talk about those now. There are two sets of rules for using will and shall. I call these the normal future and the strong future. Let's talk about the normal future first. This is when we express a plan, an expectation, or a prediction. The grammar rule says that if the subject of the sentence is I or we, then shall should be used. Here are some examples. I shall wait for you at the train station, and we shall not go to the museum if you don't have time. You see here that we are using shall because the subjects are I and we. In English, I and we are known as the first person. If the subject is the second person, you are the third person. He, she, it, they extra, then will should be used. Here are some examples. You will find the flash drive in the locker. The match will not take place on October 7th. Instead of the match, you can also say it will not take place. And finally, all employees will receive fire safety training every 2 years. Here, you can say they instead of all employees. Now these sentences on the screen are called the normal future or planned future because they are normal sentences and there is no emotion attached to them. But sometimes we want to express a strong emotion about the future. It could be a promise, a command, determination or duty. We call this the strong future. The grammar rule is that for the strong future, we reverse will and shall. So now we are going to use will with the first person I and we and shall with the second and third person. Take this sentence for an example. I will get A on this exam. I promise. Compare this to the previous sentence. I shall wait for you at the train station. There is no emotion there. It's just a simple future arrangement. But when I say I will get an A on this exam, you will tell that I am showing strong determination. So this is a strong future and we use will. Here is another example. We will not tolerate smoking inside the building. You see that this is a warning and it's a strong warning, so we use will. These are first person subjects. With second and third person subjects we use shall. For example, you shall finish your homework before you go out to play. What type of sentence is this? It's a command or order. You can imagine a mother saying this to her child. The next example is the wedding shall not take place. Compare this to the previous sentence. The match will not take place on October 7th. Why? Maybe because of weather conditions or other scheduling problems. But the strong future sentence is very different. When I say the wedding shall not take place, I am saying won't allow the wedding to take place. I will stop the wedding. Of course, I have no reason to stop anybody's wedding, but you can see how there is a lot of emotion or feeling in this sentence. Here is one last example. All employees shall wear safety gloves when handling hazardous chemicals. This is a rule and it's a strict rule that must be obeyed by all employees. That's why use shall. Now for all pronouns, that is I, you, we, they, he, she and it, you can shorten both will and shall and say I will, you will, they will. Will not shortens to won't. Shall not can be shortened to shan't. But that form is not really used in modern English.